Welcome back to Pokemon episode summaries. Today, I'll be doing episode 33, The Flaming Pokemon Athlon. The episode begins with Ash and the gang arriving in Safari Land, which is essentially the precursor area to the main Safari Zone. Being in the Safari Zone meant that you could catch any Pokemon you wanted there without anyone judging you, and there was a huge variety usually available, so that's why it was such a hot spot to catch Pokemon. A herd of Tauros then appears, with Ash using his Pokedex on it and getting excited, wanting this to be his first Safari Zone capture, so he tries to get Pikachu to go and attack them, but Pikachu is too much of a scaredy bitch, so he sends in Charmander instead, who is about to go in for an attack before it gets tackled by a Growlithe, who Ash also uses his Pokedex on. The Growlithe then attacks Charmander with a flamethrower, with Charmander countering with a flamethrower of its own. Ash realizes that this will be pointless, since they're both Fire-type Pokemon, and recalls Charmander sending out his Squirtle instead. But right as Squirtle comes out, a girl arrives on her Rapidash, knocking down Ash instantly, getting angry at him for battling her Growlithe and attempting to catch the Tauros, stating that this was not in fact the Safari Zone, but a Pokemon ranch where catching Pokemon was actually prohibited. Revealing that the ranch was her family ranch, known as the Laramie Big P Ranch, and that her name was Lara Laramie. Brock immediately recognizes the Laramie name as a family who breeds exceptionally good wild Pokemon, which explains why they owned a ranch in the first place. After realizing that Ash and the gang didn't know that they were on a ranch, Lara concludes that they must not be bad trainers after all, and invites them to come to the ranch's yearly race that happens, and adds that she and her Ponyta were going to be entering, leading Ash to scan her Ponyta on his Pokedex to learn more about it. Despite that, though, he obviously doesn't learn that Ponyta's flame was real, as he willingly touches it and fucking burns himself to the point where Squirtle has to put out the fire. Lara apologizes and explains that Ponyta burns anyone that it just met, as it hadn't trusted them yet. And then the gang heads to her ranch to prepare for tomorrow's race, with Lara introducing several of the competitors, including people with Raticates, Nidorinas, and Nidorinos. Explaining that there were so many competitors due to what was at stake, being an honorary spot as a member of the Laramie family clan, which involved having a lot of money, which clearly Pikachu was very interested in, based on this epic screenshot. A herd of Dodrio then run up to Ash and the gang, as Ash uses his Pokedex on it, and a trainer comes up who is an owner of one of these Dodrio, and another one of the other competitors, boasting that he'll win the race no matter what. So, as you can tell, he's the character of the day that is your stereotypical bully villain type bitch. Lovely, I love that character trope. He then runs off with the entire herd of Dodrio. So does that imply that he owns them all? If so, I think he could just open up a ranch of his own that's Dodrio. I don't think he needs any stake in Lara's ranch at all, right? And if he's a dick to Lara, I doubt the family's gonna let him in. And Lara probably realizes this, as she just smiles in annoyance, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Later that night, in the local village, there's a celebration going on to prepare for tomorrow's big race, and everyone is giving Lara huge encouragement. As Lara, Ash, and the gang enjoy the festivities and buy several items, including this weird-looking statue thing that Ash buys, the trainer with the Dodrio walks up to Lara and informs her that her Tauros are all acting up, as he looks on mischievously as she runs toward them, implying he was involved somehow. When Lara arrives, the Tauros are indeed going absolutely insane, and she instructs her Growlithe to try and calm them down. Growlithe fails to calm them down before the same tiny flash that caused the Tauros to go into this frenzy spooks the Ponyta as well, which sends Lara flying off the Ponyta, leading her to break her arm, rendering her unable to participate in tomorrow's race, much to her sadness. Ash then tries to calm down the Ponyta, which, due to being the protagonist and Pokemon lover that he is able to successfully calm her down, as Team Rocket watch in the distance. As they laugh evilly, revealing that they were the ones who activated the light to scare Tauros and Ponyta, but they didn't act alone, as they were working with Dario, the boy with the Dodrio, to try and get Lara disqualified from the race. So therefore he would have a better chance of winning and stealing the popularity away from Lara's ranch. As for why Team Rocket agreed to go along with the plan, it was because they wanted to make money, which Dario had promised he would give them a cut of once he earned a portion of Lara's family's business. Meanwhile, after the conclusion of the festival, Ash and the gang returned to Lara's family home, with Lara now sad that she wouldn't be able to compete in the race. She then gets the idea to ask Ash to race in her place, stating how she was impressed with how Ash was able to effortlessly calm down Ponyta after it went crazy, something that even she would have struggled to do. Ash is initially hesitant, as Ponyta isn't his Pokemon, right, so he might not have the best connection with it, but Brock and Misty encourage him to go anyway, so Ash decides to accept, trying to befriend Ponyta a little bit more, but Ponyta is still reluctant and burns him yet again, much to everyone's disappointment. Now, upon further examination, I don't understand why Ash was still burned here, as if Ponyta was comfortable enough to be calmed down by him, it should have trusted him, right? But it doesn't really matter in the end, as Lara convinces Ponyta to give Ash a chance, stating that Ash could help it with its goal of evolving, while he simultaneously improves his skills as a trainer, proving that he can tame Pokemon that aren't his own. Lara essentially wanted Ponyta to be able to get stronger, even while Lara wouldn't be able to help her with that goal. So Ponyta does decide to accept Ash as its rider, and they practice all night, without much success though, as Ash basically almost falls off the entire time, much to Misty and Brock's disappointment. The next day, the race begins, with the entire village watching. Now, it's not just Ash and Ponyta who are competing. Misty and her Starmie are competing, Brock and his Onix are competing, along with just Pikachu and Squirtle, who have formed their own team, along with a whole bunch of other trainers, of course, including people with Sand Slashes, Voltorbs, and Rhyhorns. The alarm then sounds as the announcer clears go, and the race officially commences, with Pikachu and Squirtle unfortunately taking last place, and Dario and his Dodrio taking first place. Despite Dario being in first place, Team Rocket still go along with the other part of Dario and Team Rocket's combined plan, which was that they would try and sabotage other players in the race. They do just this by firing a rock and a slingshot at a poor man who was riding a Tauros, which causes the Tauros to go apeshit and attack another racer and his neat arena. The next leg of the race is a simple uphill climb, which most racers are able to get through effortlessly, but Pikachu and Squirtle struggle, as Pikachu has to push Squirtle up the mountain, as Squirtle's too lazy to go by himself. Next is the downhill portion, which actually leads someone else to take the lead instead of Dario, thankfully, being a dude with his Electrode. He's able to take the lead by using Electrode like a bowling ball, like Meowth did in the previous episode, but unfortunately, he manages to fall into a hole due to rolling so fast that he was unable to control his direction, and the fall causes the Electrode to explode, leading Team Rocket to laugh as they reveal that they were the ones who dug the hole, this time actually justified because Dario wasn't in the lead anymore. Dario had regained the lead now, though, as he knew about the trap due to being allied with Team Rocket, and none of the other racers even did either, so the explosion catches them off guard and knocks everyone down, including a racer with his Sandslash and a racer with his Raticate, but most importantly, Ash and Ponyta. No worries though, our heroes Ash and Ponyta are able to get back up and resume racing, as since Pikachu and Squirtle were so far behind due to Pikachu having to carry Squirtle up the hill, they weren't affected by the explosion as they hadn't arrived by the time it happened, so they're able to quickly help up Ash and Ponyta when they arrive by giving Ponyta a jolting shock to give it more energy. By the time Ash and Ponyta arrive at the next leg of the race, which is racing across a river with stepping stones, Dario and Dodrio had already crossed the river with immense speed, having no difficulty whatsoever. As for Brock and another trainer, who had also arrived close by to Dario, they weren't able to cross, as Rhyhorn was too heavy to step on the stones, and Brock's Onix was afraid of water. Which makes sense. I mean, they're rock Pokemon. That's not fair. There's no other terrain that affects Pokemon types in the race, just the water. Thankfully, though, although the water is a disadvantage to Brock, it's an advantage to Pikachu and Squirtle, and Misty and Starmie, who are able to simply just glide across the water having water types. Ash and Ponyta are the only other duo able to cross the water, doing so by diligently stepping across each stepping stone. The four racers then eventually arrive at the next leg of the race, which is multiple rocks, each that have Pokemon food resting on them. The goal of the area was to have your Pokemon rest for a while and finish an entire bowl of Pokemon food before they continue on, and that was a rule, so you couldn't bypass that. Dario and his Dodrio were still in the lead, so they were the first to arrive, but they eventually lose the lead as the three Dodrio heads, each being sentient beings of their own, fight over which one gets the most food, which stops them from eating. This allows our protagonist to catch up and also begin eating, much to Dario's annoyance, so he calls upon Team Rocket, yelling for them to do something to help him. Team Rocket oblige, deciding to distract Ash and the gang by battling them, but doing so means they have to reveal themselves, and therefore their relationship with Dario. This pisses off Misty and Ash. Now having discovered through both Team Rocket revealing themselves, and Dario even calling for them in the first place, that Dario had been cheating, utilizing Team Rocket's mischievous skills. Team Rocket then decide to do their motto as usual, in order to waste even more time so that Dario can take an even bigger lead, but Ash quickly cuts him off, obviously being as annoyed with the motto as we are, and instructs for Squirtle and Pikachu to attack when Team Rocket sends out Weezing and Arbok. Despite being busy with eating food themselves, they decide that helping Ash is probably the smarter idea, as Ash and Ponyta would probably be able to make it farther, so they decide to attack Arbok and Weezing, but Arbok uses Glare and paralyzes Pikachu and Squirtle, making them unable to make any further moves. This leaves Misty to go up and try and attack with her Starmie, but Weezing uses Sludge, which blinds Starmie, also rendering it unable to attack. With Ash and Misty successfully distracted, Dodrio is able to leave and take the lead. Spotting this, Misty instructs Ash to quickly follow Dario and his Dodrio, claiming that she and her Starmie could handle Team Rocket on their own, despite just getting their asses handed to them by fucking Weezing. Arbok doesn't let Ponyta get away though, blocking its way, and Weezing then follows up by using its Smog attack, causing Ponyta to react defensively, covering itself in its own flames, igniting them hotter than it's ever done before. Able to do this because it was so heated up from being tense. This shocks Arbok, who's blown away at this Deus Ex Machina moment, but to be fair, Team Rocket has moments like these all the time too, so what do you expect, Arbok? James then panics, knowing what would happen if Ponyta's enhanced flame interacted with Weezing's smog gas, and what he expected happens. An explosion! Whoa, shocker. This explosion sends Team Rocket blasting off, ending their annoyance for the episode, thankfully. But, as we know, Team Rocket isn't the only annoyance this episode. Dario is the main antagonist. And he was definitely still in the lead. Thankfully though, Ash and Ponyta are able to catch up very quick, likely due to the now strengthened flame around its body, giving it an extra speed boost. Dario is obviously caught off guard by this, so has to resort to a dirty trick of his own, despite not having Team Rocket there, being having Dodrio attack Ponyta while it's racing, and having it peck it with one of its heads. This allows Dario to maintain a steady lead, but Ponyta, out of pure want to win the race for both it and Lara's sake, as well as the strength and power of its flame, it's able to evolve into its evolved form Rapidash, giving it even more power and speed, allowing it to overtake Dario in the race. Lara and Ash are both immensely shocked at this, but that shock is turned to pure happiness as Rapidash is able to win the race, although just by a tiny, tiny hair. Like literally, its nostril just barely touched the finish line before Dario did. But that's just how we like it here in Pokemon, Deus Ex Machina moments. The crowd then celebrates wildly along with Lara and Growlithe. However, Dario dampens the celebration when he comes in second place, and baselessly attempts to accuse Rapidash and Ash of cheating to win the race.
But really, I guess he does have a little ground, as you couldn't do something like this in the games. As an evolution mid-event like this likely wouldn't have been possible, and Ash may not have won. But you know what? Dario's a cunt, and he's not a person that should be calling people out for cheating. So Ash and Rapidash give him what he deserves, which is a kick in the balls with Rapidash's hooves. With Dario dealt with, the celebrations continue as Ash holds the victory flag, much to Brock and Misty's joy. Ash is sure to include Rapidash's original trainer Lara in the celebration as well, having her hold part of the flag, as if she was part of the race as well, as she should have been. Rapidash then finally officially comes around to Ash after everything they went through in the race together, nuzzling him happily. After the celebrations end, Ash and the gang along with Lara return to Lara's ranch, but not for long, as Ash and the gang have to continue on with their journey. Before they go, they say goodbye to Lara, Rapidash, Tauros, and Growlithe, with Lara thanking them for helping her win the race and informing them that their next destination, the actual Safari Zone that they were looking for in the beginning of the episode, was right up ahead. Meanwhile, Dario is angry at Team Rocket for failing him and have tied them up as punishment, having found where they blasted off to. Team Rocket curses at Dario and his Dodrio, leading Dodrio to get involved and inflict punishment of its own, being pecking Team Rocket endlessly as they scream in pain. Yeah, we love to see Team Rocket get tortured, fuck yeah.